You know, I feel that there are games out there that I can connect you through its narrative. But sometimes, it's the opposite. Sometimes the gameplay speaks to me. Zelda: A Link to the Past is an example of that. And I'll show you why.
The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past is a prequel to the first Legend of Zelda, meaning that it takes place in a time period before that particular game. We could talk about how this game connects to the rest of the Zelda series, but I don't really care. To me, Zelda has never been about this.
Yes.
It's always been more about this. Don't know about you, but I think I've provided a solid argument. Solid. The game starts off with Zelda giving Link a distress call telepathically. Zelda, if you don't know, is the princess of Hyrule. She is locked up in a castle, needing to be rescued. The one responsible for all of this is a wizard named Aghanim. This guy. He's the mean one. His goal is to break the seal on the Sacred Realm, which I'm gonna blindly assume is a nice place that has fields of flowers to run across.
This isn't what Hyrule looks like.
And in order to do that, he casted spells on many soldiers and kidnapped the young maidens who are descendants of the Seven Sages. With all of this happening, Link's uncle goes ahead telling Link that he should not go to the castle. Obviously, Link will proceed to disobey his uncle.
Otherwise, this would have just ended with Link going back to sleep, leaving everyone to die horrible deaths. Horribly.
So Link goes to the castle and finds that his uncle has been slain. He passes on his sword and shield to Link and urges him to rescue Zelda. And then you do what any nephew would do, and that is leave your uncle to death. Oh, Link, you couldn't be any more of a class act. So from here on out, his job is to rescue Zelda and take her to a place for safekeeping. In this case, it's at an unguarded sanctuary while you walk off and go on a journey. Sounds like a foolproof plan with no room for error. Nope, none whatsoever. Yeah, this guy can defend Zelda, no problem at all. You learn from him that in order to defeat Aghanim, Link has to acquire the Master Sword. To do this, he has to acquire the 3 Pendants of Virtue, which are each called the Pendant of Courage, Power, and finally Wisdom. After you manage to do all of that and acquire the Master Sword, it's not long until Zelda is in trouble again. Remember the sanctuary she was staying at? Turns out it was infiltrated by a bunch of soldiers. Oh man, I thought she was totally safe at that totally unguarded sanctuary with nobody capable of defending the Princess of Hyrule from the clutches of evil. I probably should have maybe come up with a more foolproof plan. Oh well. Because of the screw-up, Link has to go rescue her from the castle. Again. Unfortunately this time, it's too late. Zelda is already in Aghanim's hands and she promptly gets teleported to the Dark World as soon as you confront him. Oh no, what will I do now? I know, pretend it never happened. Actually, the real course of action is to take Aghanim head-on in order to get Zelda back. This battle ends up becoming a draw and Link gets transported to the Dark World as well. The Dark World, by the way, used to be the Sacred Realm, but because of Aghanim's wish to take over the world, the Sacred Realm has been warped immensely. So, all that stuff that just happened in the Light World? Child's play. This is where the realness of real starts being real. Really. This all conveniently sets Link in place to journey off. Will he rescue Zelda? Will Hyrule be saved? Will Link flunk his driving test again? Who really is this mysterious Aghanim? Will Link finally go on that date he's been telling his friends about? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Zelda. As the third game in the Zelda timeline, Link to the Past decided to, well, go back to the past and take the gameplay style that the first game had and polish it further for the Super Nintendo. The game before Link to the Past, which was The Adventure of Link on the NES, strayed away with a foray into the action RPG side-scroller genre, and is considered by some to be the black sheep of the Zelda series. It's certainly not a bad game, but many feel that it wasn't faithful to the foundation that the first game put down. This time though, Link to the Past is more faithful to the original design of the first Zelda and moves forward with its own improvements. There are many gameplay mechanics that Link to the Past borrowed from the original Zelda and improved in many aspects. Link's basic sword attack in the original NES game, for example, is a stabbing motion that affects only the enemies directly in front of him. In Link to the Past, however, Link attacks in more of a swinging motion, thus giving his attack a wider area of effect. The same thing goes with Link's movement as well. Before, you could only move him in 4 directions, but in Link to the Past, it's 8 directions. Simple changes like these two give Link to the Past a much more open feel compared to its predecessor. Now, you might already be thinking that I'm using this as a stance to say that Link to the Past is better than the original Legend of Zelda. This is far what I'm trying to convey here. I'm merely using the Legend of Zelda as a reference point because that's where the main design of Link to the Past is based off of. It merely just expands upon the original building blocks that the Legend of Zelda provides. Anyway, in order to progress through the game, you have to navigate your way through dungeons, fight through hordes of enemies, acquire items, and defeat bosses. The most important thing out of all of this is the item aspect, because without items, you wouldn't be able to do anything else in the game. The entire game is beautifully designed around progression through the means of items that you discover in each dungeon. If you ever find something in this game, you'll know that it will be an important piece of a puzzle that you may run into in the near future. While this game is pretty challenging, it's never too easy or too difficult. The game does a great job of always having the right amount of enemies to deal with in each area, so the game creates a great balance between action and exploring. Just by looking at this game, as well as listening to it, I consider this game to be the epitome of gaming evolution. Link to the Past takes an original concept and pushes it many steps further. It does it in a way that doesn't detract from the original game at all. In fact, it only makes you appreciate the finer points that it brings forth. The levels and characters look amazing. Well, except for the fact that Link has pink hair for some reason. I don't recall in any other instance in the Zelda series where Link has pink hair, though keep in mind I'm not trying to use that as a means to detract from the game, because what I'm trying to say is that Link is blonde, goddammit! Just by playing this game and going through each area, I can see that this game is very colorful, yet easy on the eyes. Forests have a lushy feeling to them, swamps look and feel murky, mountainous areas have a less saturated, more rocky look to them, and some dungeons have a well-kept look to them while others have a look that matches their surrounding environments. It may be a subtle thing to go over, but I feel visual variance keeps the player interested and the game does a fantastic job in that regard. The music of Link to the Past is great. I really enjoy that the musical side of this game doesn't try to be over-ambitious. It changes enough to go along with whatever mood is set, and that's all you can really ask for from a game like this. I consider the narrative to be pretty simple, and it's nice that the music is too to go along with it. This makes the auditory experience simple and catchy. As you just heard, the music heavily leans toward the orchestrated side of things. It makes sure the audio spectrum as a whole never gets too crazy, so that it leaves a lot of room for sound effects. Pairing the audio and visual sides together in this game makes for a great combination. It makes for a game that is not only pleasant to look at, but listen to as well. I'm gonna be honest here, I'm not the biggest fan of the Zelda series. Though in saying that, I don't mean to say that I hate any of the games. I just simply haven't forged the meaningful connection to any of the other games like I have with this one. I'm someone that sometimes just wants to have fun, and this game just so happens to help me acquire that feeling. To me, it's not necessarily the story and setting that make me come back to this game, it's the gameplay and atmosphere that really appeals to me. Something about holding a gamepad and controlling Link in this game gives me this almost indescribable feeling. All I know is that it feels right. Everything just feels so smooth in this game to the point where he just feels like an extension of myself. So if you've already played this game, you know that it is awesome. Or okay. Or not that great. Honestly, it shouldn't matter what game in the series ranks where, because it's a Zelda game after all. It's a part of a series where every game is different and each one fits different kinds of gamers and personalities. Link to the Past just so happens to be the one game that fits me perfectly in the series. So if you haven't tried it already, give it a shot. You won't regret it. Who knows, you might end up sharing the same feelings that I have with this game.